Good morning. This is Brandy Lloyd with Brandy Lloyd Personal Training and the Path Nutritional Therapy. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm in California. I live in the Sierras, for those of you who don't know me. And boy, we have had a series of crazy storms. I'm looking out at the beautiful snow right now. I just got back taking my son to school, and the roads are, pretty good, a little bit icy, but pretty good. But boy, I just love the sparkle on that brand new, freshly fallen snow. And I can't wait to get out and take my walks today in it. It's just so fun. But as beautiful as it is outside today, I know that that's not why you're listening, is to hear all about the snow in the Sierras. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about connecting the dots today. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a winter, thick, mucusy stuff in my chest today. We use a wood-burning stove, and it tends to dry all of us out a little bit. So let's talk about that immune system response. That's actually slowing down my immune system response, which means that I need to not only add more water to my house, which we do, a little kettle on there, but also to my drinking to make sure that I can keep that mucus flowing, because that mucus is a barrier. It's protective. It helps ward off and push out the bacteria and viruses that are so rampant at this time of year. So let's talk a little bit more about connecting the dots, like I just did. I was thinking, wow, I've got this mucus in my throat, and how do I kind of handle that? Do I take a Benadryl or a sinus medication or something like that for it? Absolutely not. I'm always reaching back into my toolkit and considering what the foundations of health are. So just a reminder, the foundations of health are digestion. You are what you absorb. Nutrition, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Nutrition, real food builds real health. And then digestion, you are what you absorb. Hydration, I talked about that. Water is life, and life is water. Water is the most important nutrient that we consume, and the nutrients in the water, I should say. And it's required for numerous body processes and makes up about 60% of our own body. So we've got digestion, nutrition, count them on your fingers if you want, hydration, blood sugar regulation. What goes up must come back down, right? It's not about just eating food, adding the glucose or sugar that's found in a lot of foods that we do need for energy and leaving it in the bloodstream. Oh, no, that's a recipe for diabetes right there. That's actually dangerous for our body. We need to consume that food, and that sugar, that glucose needs to be delivered into our cells all around our body. So stable blood sugar levels provide consistent energy, and they enable us to have what I call metabolic flexibility. That means that you can eat a variety of different foods and have a variety of different stress on your body, whether it's relaxing and reading a book or working out in the gym. That metabolism needs to be able to shift gears and use it, and not just let it circle around in our bloodstream, causing inflammation and stress. And that's exactly what happens is when we have the metabolic flexibility, we reduce our overall stress in our bodies. So we also need to add fatty acid balance. Most fats are your friends. Fats, we've talked about in past episodes, have gotten a bad rap over the years. The low-fat diet craze. I don't even really feel like I need to go into that anymore. It seems like the average ordinary person is pretty much on board. And if you look at the grocery store shelves, we see, the coconut oils and the palm oils and avocado oils and olive oils. And people are really turning to those and understanding that those quality fats actually help build a quality body. Healthy fats are required for stable energy and optimal brain function and hormone balance and satiety, that feeling satisfied and able to go great distance as far as time between your meals instead of being tied to the refrigerator or drive-through line or snacks of granola in your purse every hour or two. And then lastly, the last foundation would be mineral balance. Minerals, I like to call them our body's spark plugs. They actually help build bones, and they lend a helping hand in balancing hormones and many other key body processes. So let's break those down one more time. Digestion, you are what you absorb. Nutrition, real food builds real health. Hydration, water is life, life is water. Blood sugar regulation, what goes up must come down. Fatty acid balance, most fats are your friends. And mineral balance, the body's natural spark plugs. So what am I talking about when I say connecting the dots? Oh, okay. For those of you who do know me in real life, I have 3 dogs. And when I do podcasts, I'm a mover and a shaker. I like to walk around and talk, like we're friends and we're just standing in our kitchen. So that's exactly where I am right now. I am standing in my kitchen, and you can hear my old dog, Shiley, an old boxer. She's eating her breakfast now. And this is how I like to think. And this is how I like to work. And this is how I work with my clients too. Face-to-face online or face-to-face live in person, but I'm usually like walking around. So let's get back to those connecting the dots. I call them reading the signs. Our bodies give us all sorts of signs and signals that things are good or things aren't so good. And you would think that because we've lived in these bodies, like if you're myself, I always have to think of what year it is. I think I'm 47. I think I'm going to be 48 this year. That you think after being 47 years in my body that I would be really, really good at reading the signals. But what happens to most people is those signals, instead of being like red flags, like, hey, or a yellow flag, slow down, there's a red flag coming, they become kind of usual or normal. And normal isn't necessarily natural, and normal isn't necessarily healthy. So let me talk about some of the signs that our body gives us that we should kind of key into and look at some of the foundations, or look at all of the foundations to see if the answer lies there. Because 99.9999999% of the time, balancing your foundations of health and making sure that you are paying attention to all 6 of those categories is going to rectify or reverse or restore or heal whatever your situation is, or reverse those signs that you're getting. Here's just a few signs that I was putting on a newsletter that I was just writing. If you'd like to get my newsletter, I try and put them out at least 2 times a month. Sometimes I'm really on it and I do it weekly, or occasionally I might do more in one week. It's really a tool of passion for me. If I feel like I need to get something out that's too long for like a Instagram or Facebook post, then I'll throw it out on my website. And like today, I'm so passionate about this that I decided to follow it up with a podcast as well. So if you go to my website, which is brandylloydpt.com, then you can sign up for the newsletter right on there. And my name is spelled BRANDILOYD. Just one L. Always have to say that. Just one L. Brandy Lloyd, PT.com. So some of the signs that I want to talk to you about is like restless leg syndrome. Oh my gosh, I've only had that a couple times, and I got to tell you, it is annoying. It's just like this antsy feeling in your legs that you just have to move it around. And it happens at the worst times, typically when you're falling asleep. When you're trying to fall asleep and you just feel like you got to move your leg. So annoying. Facial hairs, right? That chin plucking, like what the heck is going on, especially if you're in my age group. Thinning hair, usually around the temples. And I have thick hair, dry, coarse, curly hair that I'm always straightening or whatever. And I never thought that I I would have thinning hair. And I noticed when I would pull my hair back in my ponytails that I could actually see a little bit of scalp. And I'm like, what the heck is that? My hormones, right? Our hormones, our blood sugar, our immune system are all closely related. And as I was first battling my autoimmune dysfunction, I wasn't quite sure how to interpret a lot of these signals or these signs that my body was giving me. What about heavy legs? What about just that, like, oh, your legs just feel like they get tired so fast. It even feels like your jeans are above your knees. You started to gain weight on your legs, and you're like, what's going on? I just climbed a flight of stairs, and my legs feel so heavy. They already feel tired, right? Easily fatigued is what I would call that. What about a bloated belly? Like no matter what you do, you give up the wine, you give up the cheese, you give up a variety of different foods, and you're like, what the heck? My stomach is still bloated. How come I can't lose this belly fat? What about just straight fatigue? I mean, you're just tired, and you blame it on things. Well, I'm not sleeping well. That's why I'm tired. Or I have a stressful job. That's why I'm tired. Or my kids or my husband or my friends or my dogs, are driving me crazy. That's maybe why I'm tired. What about dry skin? Oh, no lotion, not enough lotion, dry skin, cracked heels, chapped lips. What about dark circles under your eyes or unknown rashes? Like, what is going on? Eczema, psoriasis, or hives, or just little bumps maybe on the back of your arms. Usually that's vitamin A. I'll just have that on a little aside. What about insomnia? You're tired. You're so tired. We already talked about that, but you just can't get to sleep. Your mind is racing. It's 10, it's 11, it's 12, it's 1. Or maybe you're a little bit different. Maybe you can easily fall asleep, but then you wake back up at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you're like me, I get up early. I get up at 4 o'clock because my first client is here at 5. If I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not happy about that because my alarm is going to be going off pretty soon and I need to be ready to serve my clients. What about a rapid heartbeat? You ever just have your heartbeat just increase for no good reason? Maybe you're even just driving down the road with somebody like you love and you're getting ready to go do something fun, whether it's watch a movie or go to a favorite restaurant or take a hike or whatever. And you're like, why is my heart beating like this? Or what about night sweats, waking up in a pool of sweat or everybody else has a sweatshirt on and you're fanning yourself and you're like, this just isn't right. Hormones, right? We talked a little bit about anxiety, maybe a feeling of impending doom or over worry or we've all been there, especially women. Do you know that autoimmune diseases, about 80%, I think it's 80%, I think it's 75 or 80% of the people that suffer with autoimmune dysfunction are women. And that's why anxiety is such a big deal. I recently have experienced anxiety in my life. It cropped up about 2 years ago. I didn't even know really what it was that I was feeling, but I knew that it wasn't right. And I equated anxiety with depression. And oftentimes people with anxiety also suffer with depression. But I didn't have what I felt at the time was depression, but it was definitely anxiousness, just kind of over worry, and sometimes making me feel lightheaded, like I could almost pass out. And how about the inability to concentrate or stay focused on a task? Now, you and I both know that this list can go on and on and on, but I want to let you know that these are all symptoms and signs that your body is suffering in those 6 foundations. One of them or all of them. But I tell you what, they all hold hands. They're all linked together. They have what we like to call like a symbiotic relationship, kind of, give and take relationship. And most importantly, your immune system, the very system that is protecting you, the system that is going to keep, cancer away. That's what we talked about a little bit in my newsletter today, is cancer is rampant. What is going on with our immune system? So if these signs, if these are just a few of the signs: pre-hypertension, diabetes or hypertension, or IBS or Crohn's, or food allergies and sensitivities. These are all signs that something isn't right. One or more than one of our foundations of health is needing to be addressed. Now, I do offer free consultations, so you can hit that button on the newsletter if you'd like, or go to my website and request a free consultation, or Facebook or Instagram me, and I'd love to chat with you and help you and kind of put you on the right path. And that's what I want to talk about next is, do you have a plan? If you're reading the signs and if you're not going to accept that this is just